What does it really take to make a man? What are the elements that comprise a real man's life? What is the deeper, more eternal meaning? What is it that fills a man's soul, that makes him seek after something, a cause greater than himself, to become better than he could ever be on his own? And even more, what does it mean to be a godly man, more than macho, but mature and faithful? Today, we're going to uncover the truth. We're going to confront some lies, and we're going to explore the truth about biblical manhood. Today, I have my friend Mark, Alec. He is a guy. He is a man's man. And we're going to explore his story. By the way, you've heard me talk about him before. He is one of the guys in my cadre, which over the last 4.5, 5 years has made me a better man. Thanks for being here, Mark.
Well, thanks for having me.
It's good to have you and your story. I wanted to get this on digital recording for a long time. I want to start with, who is Mark? What's his story? And let's start with the first part. Let's start with where you are today. Tell me about your family, your wife, your boys.
Okay. I have 2 sons, both grown adults. Jake's my oldest. He's serving in the Navy. Has a few months left. He is 24. And then I have Grant, who just finished up 4 years in the Marine Corps. A lot like myself, and he needed that. And I'm blessed that he actually did go in and get some corrective action taken on his life, because he is going places well beyond where I am today. I am married to a lovely lady named Leah. She's a woman of God, which keeps me grounded. And we can talk about that story a little bit later too. Started off in high school. I would consider myself smart, but never focused enough to actually get grades unless I was really interested in a topic.
Yeah.
Early on, I think junior high, I decided to join the Marine Corps. That was my main goal. Loved being out in the woods and guns and all that good stuff as well. The second reason that I decided I wanted to go was I had what I would term as an absentee father. Great man when it came to woodworking and outdoor stuff. Had a drinking problem. He'd classified as an alcoholic today. Not really present, especially as I got older in my teenage years. So my mom pretty much raised myself and my sister. And he wasn't a nice man, especially when he was drinking. So the second reason I went in the Marine Corps was to become tough enough to take him down, if we're looking for honest reasons. Yeah. Actually graduated boot camp. I came back and was out drinking one time with my friends. This is all before Jesus. Ran into him in a bar. He was with the woman that he cheated on my mom with. Got into a confrontation, and he called me out, and I answered the call. I had 3 guys jump on me, and I was dragging them across the bar to get to him. And when I got nose to nose to him, I could see him swallowing because he went too far. And he knew if these guys weren't holding me back, I would have laid him low.
So there's a great story here, the background. We've got just a little bit of the background on the early years of you really exploring what real manhood was. And that was a big part of your story, as to not only trying to understand, but trying to not cope, but trying to figure out what it was like to be a man, to figure out what it was like to do that on your own. Had a dad that was maybe a provisional dad, worked hard, kept food on the table, kept a place to live, but wasn't available as a father, or wasn't available to help teach you how to be a man.
Correct.
Yeah. So you sought that out when you were in junior high. I'm curious to know why junior high. I mean, what was the thing that triggered your interest in the Marines at that time?
I think it was the genre of movies that were coming out because we had Rambo and, all those movies that came out following Rambo. And I just thought it was cool. Green Beret.
Yeah, John
taking
Wayne.
on 25 people all by yourself. And
Yeah.
then I remember seeing a Marine Corps commercial. And I was like, oh, that's it right there, because it showed them, coming in by sea and all cammied up and then coming out of the water and, real quote unquote manly things.
So that not the bravado, but the image of being a man stood out to you.
Yes. And,
Okay.
and a tough man.
Yeah.
Once again, one of my heroes is John Wayne.
Yeah. Love him.
And the more I read about him, I should have followed that path a little more than just going out and becoming a Marine Corps warrior,
Yeah.
which has its own rituals and birthrights as well. I mean, I got a lot out of it. They straightened me out.
Don't you think, though, that going back to the boy, the junior high, the early years of being at home with your dad, and we just jumped in it real quick. We didn't even lay any groundwork, but we just jumped in quick. That's what I love about you. You just go straight to it. What was it that caused the searching and the seeking in your heart and mind for, I need to find an image, I need to find an identity? What was it that made you go there?
Well, like I said, my dad was an alcoholic and he worked hard, don't get me wrong, but he went straight from work to the tavern. Showed up late at night. He wasn't in my life. I remember signing up for baseball because he loved baseball. Never came to a single game, so then I just quit going to baseball and doing that. Same as football. It's not the same thing when your mother's in the stand cheering for you. You want your dad there going, hey, that was a great play, or along those lines. And I didn't have that. So I was looking for a mentor or a mentorship or a program that would give me the manly fatherhood guidance that I needed.
So with that, I don't want to say approval. I don't think it's approval. I think that it's affirmation and confirmation. You and I had recently, I remember, a great conversation about men needing to be initiated and confirmed and affirmed, not just by their fathers, but by a significant group of men in community. Like you just, not a pat on the back, but yeah, this guy's, he's striving to be a man. He is pushing forward. He is trying to become somebody. So we want to affirm him in that. And we want to see him grow and become the man that God has designed him to be. So at that early age, when, and this is what I want to get to, as older men, we need to be affirmed and confirmed and initiated. But I want to go to the point where young boys really need the attention and the blessing of their father. Like, not just paying attention, not just being available, not just being around, but actually being fully engaged and desiring and even needing, because of father hunger, to be blessed by their father. Talk about that.
I would have to bring up, like you, I spent a significant time with my grandfather, and he was a mentor for me before the Marine Corps ever hit. Not a very large in stature man. He was full-blooded German, and I think as his height, probably 5'6", but he carried himself like he was 6'8". And I mean, jovial at times, but boy, when he wanted, work is work, play is play. And I remember him and I just sitting there talking. He was a tobacco chewer, Copenhagen. That's what he got for Christmas, rolls of Copenhagen.
There you go.
and he got a little bean can and he'd spit in the house, but he had a 5-gallon bucket in case he missed what he was aiming at. But that's another story.
Yeah.
But we'd listen to Paul Harvey after lunch, and then we'd just sit and have some conversations about life in general. Or he would teach me about savings because he was a very tight person when it came to money. And other things a man should know and how to carry yourself. Yeah, he got upset, but he never lost his temper. I mean, you could see the change in his eyes, but he never screamed at you. He just grabbed a hold of you, gave you the firm hold, and go do this. Or if you got time to fight, you got time to work, let's go. That's where I got my work ethic from. Because if we screwed up, me and my cousins who lived down the road, we hoed 5 acres of potatoes.
Wow.
Or cleaned out the barn or things like that. So I think it's very, very much needed for young men to have role models. And it doesn't have to be strictly a father. I think it takes a unit, cadre, for young men too. You should have fathers, uncles, good buddies, things like that, because I may be great at one thing and you're great at another thing, and then Joel is great at another thing as well. And it's good to expose kids to all this other stuff because you pick up. They do. They're sponges.
Right.
I mean,
It's true.
now we're just dried out sponges.
Let's pick up on the work ethic thing for a minute, because I don't want people to miss how you were in the Marines. We'll go back to how you got there in a minute because it's such a great story. But tell me what you do now.
I'm a nurse anesthetist. It's a nurse that does anesthesia, not a doctor of anesthesia. I have a master's degree, and I'm able to do anesthesia on my own according to the state. Every state's different. But basically, I anesthetize people for surgeries.
Yeah. So you were in the Marines. How did the Marine thing, your service in the Marine, how did that lead you to being an NA? How did that transpire?
Good question, because I went into the Marine Corps infantry.
Yeah.
And in the infantry, you don't fix things, you break things.
Yeah.
That's what we're taught, cut and dry.
Yeah.
You get that instinct to just destroy. We were gearing up for Desert Storm, and they were giving us advanced medical training, how to put IVs in, tourniquets, stop sucking chest wounds. And some of us were chosen to get more advanced training because we didn't have enough corpsmen for everybody. And corpsmen, if nobody is aware of this, the Marine Corps is part of the Department of the Navy. It's the men's department, as I call it, but they supply us with not just being a taxi, but they supply us with the medical supplies we need too. And the corpsmen are the ones that take care of medically all the Marines. So I was very interested in it along with a couple other guys, and we were all sitting around talking. It's like, hey, let's go to med school after we're all done with this. And I think out of the 6 guys I was with, I'm the only one that went into the medical field. When I got out of the Marines, I was like, okay, med school, started looking at it. I was 23. I was so old and so wise. I said, 8 to 10 years of school? No, there's no way I could do it. And I ended up still going 8 to 10 years to get my master's degree, but I went the nursing route instead.
Right. So you've been doing that line of work for how many years now?
Going on 18 years.
18 years. This is off topic. How has that world changed since you went in to today? How's that whole medical world changed?
Well, they keep developing new drugs, new procedures. Like robotic surgeries now are pretty common. But when they first came out, it's as an anesthesiologist or person that does anesthesia, it was totally foreign because you have to tip people almost onto their heads to do a prostatectomy, and you're dealing with lung pressure changes, all kinds of different stuff like that. So always learning.
It's got to be an interesting Like, I bet you meet some real characters with what you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a personality.
Everybody's got a personality. And you have worked for just private hospitals and for the VA and of course, your military training, your Marine training, which probably was very extensive in its own. I'm curious, did you get any credit for that, like in the Marines?
Credit?
Yeah.
No, at the time, well, physical education.
Yeah.
That was it. Nowadays, since my son got out, he's got a whole host of actual credits like public speaking. He's, they take care of some of the other stuff that actually counts towards college credits.
Right.
So I didn't have to take bowling in college. Okay.
Now, you were in the Marines for how many years?
6 years.
6 years.
6 years active duty Marine. And then as I was going to get my nursing degree, I signed up for the Naval Reserve and their nursing corps for another 6 years.
Wow. So you've got the history. So you can literally put people to sleep in several different ways, and some of them you can bring them back.
That's what I tell people I make the money for, is bringing
them back.
Yes. Anybody can put anybody to sleep.
So for all the Marines out there, this is your guy right here. He is all of it. If you've ever seen any of my FS 100 challenges on YouTube, you will see probably 6 or 8 of those in a man cave with a bear over my shoulder. That is Mark's man cave with a big blue tractor in the background. So he is the man's man. Let's go back to junior high school. You said you played sports. Mm-hmm. You played baseball, football.
And that was it. Did a little track. Wasn't fast enough, so.
Yeah. So you actually went through school, played sports, decent student, not
an exceller. If I would have applied myself, I think I would have been very good, but at the point I had never had anything to shoot for. And I didn't have the discipline. That's what I thank the Marine Corps for, is discipline and picking out a goal and set your mind to it. You can do it.
You said that you chose the Marine pathway, the Marine course of life in junior high school. That had to be a little bit of a relief to know that I know what I'm doing when I get out.
I always thought it was, and I think that's what's lacking today, because you talk to kids that are getting ready to graduate. What are you going to do? Well, I don't know. Yeah. And I always remember early on, everybody's little kids. Yeah. I was always, well, what do you want to do? Oh, fireman, police officer, guy stuff. Is a little on. You always start kids thinking of what they want to do as a career. It's just, to me, it's lackadaisical nowadays. But
let's look forward. Your sons are in the military. Yes. They are Marine and Navy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Did they just follow? Because your dad was
Air Force.
Okay. So that is a pretty cool thing. There's a military history with your family. Mm-hmm. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, all my uncles served as well.
That is cool.
Almost every branch covered. I don't think Coast Guard.
So there's a sort of a generational thing for your family to be military people, military men. When you started the process, you joined the military, you left home. What was that story like? Like, how did all that transpire?
Well, I remember going down to MEPS, which is the military depot down in Milwaukee. You do your physical, and they do your aptitude score and tell you what you're going to do. And we did all that stuff. I was going infantry, so most people call me kind of insane signing up for infantry, because who wants to be running around playing in the dirt? But I remember that was the year and exactly the time when Full Metal Jacket came out, which, by the way, is much the most accurate portrayal of Marine Corps boot camp you're ever going to see. And guess what the movie was I watched the day before I got on the bus?
Oh, well.
Ship Out.
Yep.
Full Metal Jacket.
So you knew.
I knew, but watching it and being there are two different animals, because I got there, and you got to remember, when you join the military, you signed a contract, which contract is contract. I'm not into these guys. This is hard. I want to quit. Yes, it was hard, and I did want to quit, but push through it. But I remember we got assigned the yellow footprints, get on those, people screaming at us, got into the barracks. You get transitioned in where they, cut your hair, get your ID, all that stuff. But I think the next day you meet your platoon drill instructor and all your junior drill instructors, and they come out just on fire. The two juniors come out, the senior, but the one junior that came out, he must have been 6'4", and I mean, big, just
tuned up.
It's like they painted his shirt on him.
Yeah,
because you couldn't get this thing any tighter than he was. And it's scary, and you don't have anybody to back you up.
So from day one to all the way through to the end to graduation, that the process, the testing at the end is called the crucible.
Not when I was in.
Not when you were in.
My son did the crucible. We didn't have.
What was your experience?
Ours was just boot camp.
Yeah.
Now I was in before the Mothers of America started meddling with it. I mean, you got talked to in the whiskey locker, which is where they kept all the cleaning supplies. And when I mean talked to, you were yelled at, and you might have got roughed up.
Yeah.
And that was just part of boot camp. It was back when drill instructors, they could touch you. And I'm not talking in a friendly way either, like a slap on the back. I'm talking a full fist punch.
Yeah.
Because if you weren't doing your job, you're not doing your job, which affects everybody else.
That's the life and death training piece there.
Yes. The thing about boot camp is they tear you down to dirt level, and then they build you up. They got this foundation of solid rock. Now,
so let's go there. That is a great segue. We're talking to people now who didn't have your experience, who grew up without discipline, tried to gather it on their own, maybe got sidetracked, got in a career that wasn't cool. They're bored and they could be wavering. Let's apply your boot camp experience to now turning the conversation to some of these guys who actually need the boot camp wake-up call to turn and change.
Well, I think if you're searching for something, and nowadays there's a big cry for spirituality, I'll say. Whether you're looking for Jesus or you're looking down the opposite extreme of it, the guru, the yoga master, the whatever, you have to hit bottom,
Hit bottom.
And, there's only two ways to go, sideways or back up. And if you're going sideways, that's the same thing as just treading water. You're not going anywhere. So you have to dig deep, and you got to figure out, like the Marines did, they break you down, but then they start building up. So you have to look, you're at your bottom. You got to start finding out what's good about you and what you can build on, instead of always going the opposite route.
That's good.
Let's just, poor pity me, pity me, pity me. Because all you're doing, like I said, treading water. You're walking in a circle.
So find what's good. Let's talk about that for just a second and then move to the next point. So if a guy struggled, he doesn't have discipline, he may be in a job that he doesn't like, or one that's driving him to give more and to do more than he really wants to. How does he assess what's good in him and worthy to pursue?
This may sound like a textbook, but I truly believe if you do what am I good at column list, what I'm semi-good at, and just things I just absolutely hate doing, you're just breaking your life down. Let's say you're really good at organizing. I'm really good at that. I'm really bad at executing. You got to be honest.
Right.
With
Good.
yourself.
Honest.
Because I'm not exactly what I'd say organized. If you put me on target, I'm kind of more like, I used to be a mortarman, which is indirect fire. So you point and pull, and I'll just jump out there and let's just start taking care of things.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as coming up with a fine-tuned plan, that's not my game plan.
Yeah.
I know that's a downfall of mine. But
some of the things that you said there's a shortfall with, you in your vocation now, you had to learn how to do those things.
Yes, I'm not a book person, I'm a doer, but let's take physical fitness. It's an easy one to pick.
Okay.
Some guys are just naturally in shape, skinny, love to run, muscular, whatever. I always had to work out. And if I want to get better and stronger, I need to hire somebody or find somebody that knows what they're doing first. Because I want to improve in this. A coach. And they put you on a plan until you can get the knowledge base built up, your rock, if you want to call that, your foundation, where, after 6 months, you're making some great headway. You're doing research on your own. You're listening to the coach. Now you can work out. You're losing weight. You're gaining muscle. You set your goals. You want to bench press a Mack truck. Well, you're only up to a VW yet, but you start working on it.
So you hit on something there that I think is key for us all as men. You said that you find out first your columns. You find out what you're good at, what you tolerate, and what you just are no good at, and then you focus on what you're good at and learn what you need to grow in. And then you said get a coach, and that coach helps develop you in the experiences that you need to grow into in the future. And then you grow into your training. Like a coach helps you with the experience, he helps you train, then you grow into your experience in training. I think I've heard you mention this before. I forgot exactly, but you said you fall back to your training. I forgot exactly how you said it.
Training becomes instinct.
Because
it's just repetitive. Mm-hmm. I gave that advice to my guys when we were going into Somalia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were younger than me. I've already been in Desert Storm, Desert Shield, been through the stress of it. And they kept, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I said, check your gear. Then check it again. Make sure you get everything you're going to do. I said, don't worry. The Marine Corps, we've done this over and over and over. I said, the training just kicks in because we've done it so often. I said, yes, there's unknown out there, but just do what you know to do.
So you're connecting some great dots here today. So we fall back to our training. We keep training even in chaos. We make that part of our character.
Well, you need training because it stops the mind from wandering and doing useless stuff. Even though it's repetitive sometimes, you still need it. And repetitive is kind of comforting in some aspects.
That's really good. That's golden.
What do the SEALs say? Slow,
smooth is fast.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true. I mean, if you can do everything nice and slow, you can usually pick it up and it just becomes fast.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to go back and fix.
No. And you're not fudging and playing around. You cut all the lack of the BS out.
Yeah.
And you just get things done.
So talk to the guy who needs to cut the BS out of his life.
Well, like I said, you got to get a coach.
Okay.
And me personally, well, that's how you and I met.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of were getting unmessed, as I would kind of call it. We went to Journey to Wholeness.
That's good.
And you got to root out all the bad stuff that you've instinctively put in your routine or your training. Just because you're getting training doesn't mean you're getting good training.
So going through life day by day, we are actually by default training ourselves to be and to do certain things in certain ways.
Yes.
You're saying, okay, so we've got to break that. We've got to offset that with the good and the right and the proper.
Yes, and if you don't have that, you got to break the cycle like we did, and basically Journey to Wholeness too. What do you think's wrong with you? And you remember distinctly the timeline when good, the bad, and the ugly happened to you, and then you look at the repetitive patterns, pick out I'm oversimplifying it, but And you start correcting those problems when you're going, oh, this is what caused that problem. Now we can work on that, tear that root out, and then move on.
So we circle back to the bar where your buddies pulled you off your dad. And we've talked about this some. In that moment when you leveled back out, what was the decision that you made in that moment? Like, I've got to deal with this. What happened?
I'm going to say I was tired of being picked on by him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was finally big enough where I could take care of the issue myself and fight back. Because I knew there was no way he was going to take me in a fight. Not at this point. And he knew it too at that point. Because he, how do I say it? Yeah, back then he was a crappy father, crappy mentor in the development stage. Let's put it that way.
That's
where
good. That's good.
I finally realized, guess what? I'm a man, and now you're just a man. And I'm going to pit my manhood against your manhood, and I know I'm going to walk away because I'm way better now than I used to be as far as physically inclined. And, you know, the Marine Corps makes killers. They don't make Boy Scouts.
Right.
You know, so at that point, I was not afraid of them anymore.
Can you talk about the unit you were in?
Yeah, I was in the infantry unit, and I specialized in heavy weapons.
Yeah.
And I was a mortarman. And for those that don't know, you got 60 millimeter and 81 millimeter, and it's just a big projectile that you launch in the air, and it's got a pretty big kill radius. It's not, you generally get put in there because you're bigger and stronger, and we don't want to brag, but we're pretty smart because you got to know geometry to help run it and sight it, and the same thing with any kind of a heavy weapon. You know,
for a guy that didn't apply himself in junior high, you sure put yourself in a lot of situations that required intelligence.
True. And back then, I wasn't even aware that I was smart. I thought I was dumb.
Right. You're just a late bloomer, and you didn't have maybe the right person, namely your father, in your life to say, hey, man, you've really got it.
Sure.
Talk to dads who grew up with a dad like yours, who have sons and daughters now. How do they wrestle with that internal battle?
I think I tended to overcorrect, and I became more of a drill instructor, hover father until I started doing, what was I doing? I think I had Grant build something. I bought one of those put together shelf units, and I said, hey, go put this together. And he goes, but what if I screw it up? And I was always, you know, because I had my grandfather that's like, this is what we're going to go do it. You know, and I had free time. I wasn't on the internet. You know, we built tree forts and things like that. So I was able to reason and go do stuff. And I was aghast that he couldn't put together a simple shelving unit and he was like 14 and he can read, follow directions. But he was so worried about screwing up and me getting mad that it kind of put the kibosh on him being able to just jump out there and do it. So I would definitely say participate in your kids' lives. Be there for them. Let them experience life. You know, they have to experience. You can't mother hen them. Because if that good old John Wayne movie with the kid standing by the water, and he's like, well, why don't you go swim?
Classic.
Well, I don't know how to swim. And he just grabs him and throws him in the water. The mom's freaking out. What are you doing? Teaching them how to swim.
Teaching them how to swim.
Now move your legs. You know, they have to experience that stuff because boys need to grow.
So in that moment, you initiated and gave grace to your son that you never received.
Yes, because I said, just put it together.
Yeah.
I said, if you break it, we'll just buy another one. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
And then I started the trip down the road. I started doing research on child rearing.
Yeah.
And things like that led more, less yelling because I was a Marine. That was my child rearing thing. I screamed at him and they were afraid of me. They were very afraid of me, which I totally regret now. I'd rather have a good relationship where there's a healthy respect, fear level of what dad may do. But in that same tone, I think there was a block or a wall put up that they couldn't come to me with certain issues. And thanks to Journey to Wholeness, and this is not a plug for Journey to Wholeness, but helping me figure it out, I got a better relationship with my sons that if they had trouble, I knew they would come to me, which is worth it.
So back to we sort of skipped over your lovely wife. Tell us about her, and we'll land this plane.
Okay. Leah, I met her, well, where to start? Well, obviously, I was married once, had my boys, and then divorced. Was single. That's when I went to Journey to Wholeness, corrected my whole anger issues. A whole lot of garbage got taken away by the Lord. Thank you. And I wanted to correct my ship and was single. I was dating just for the sake of, I don't want to be lonely anymore. Corrected that ship, was praying about it, and we met at church. I was on security. She was on the greeting team. Just started conversating with her.
Yep. And she is a doctor of chiropractic.
Yes, she's a chiropractor.
Yep.
And
so it's a medical family.
Yes.
Yeah.
And her family's follows God as well, which is another true blessing because it just amplifies everything, which brings a real good peace to being in a relationship like that. You got
to see it's let's talk about this quick because we've got to wrap this up. But what was it like to be married initially to a wonderful lady who was raised by wonderful parents? And you I know you'll remember this reference, but Ozzie and Harriet. It's sort of like she was raised by Ozzie and Harriet, and you were like me, raised by Don and Dorothy dysfunction. Like
I was going to say the honeymooners.
The honeymooners, even better. So, how does all that fit?
Like I said, there was no battles. It was a discussion, and it's a graceful discussion.
So good, graceful discussion.
I remember she goes, "We've never really had an argument." I go, "No, there's no point in having an argument. We talk about everything."
That's good.
And she always, I love it because she'll preface, well, don't, like Joel, her good buddy Joel, well, don't take this the wrong way.
Right.
She's always like, well, I got something to bring up. And she's very timid about it. I'm like, well, just say it.
Fire away.
Yeah, I'm not going to get upset. That's way, way past me. And we recently discovered I got other hidden little thing because we're remodeling some stuff, and I can see it in my head, and I'm trying to picture it to her. And I get more upset because I can't explain it, and she doesn't understand it the way I'm trying to. But anyways,
got it.
That's about as close to an argument as we've had.
Right. So it's totally different.
Yes.
So we're giving hope now to guys that even though you grew up a certain way,
yes, you can have a lovely, blessed
lovely
life.
Home.
And like I said, I've turned it around with my sons. I mean, they come and we have conversations, and I look forward to being with them, not only as a father, a mentor, but I hope eventually in their, I got a separate cadre with them, and then hopefully grandkids.
Wonderful.
Boys, girls.
I want to close out with this thought because I saw you at your father's wake show honor. And I know that some of us have a difficult time doing that. How did you come to forgiveness and mercy to do that?
Well, my father accepted Jesus Christ into his life. I was originally living in Montana. That's what brought me back. He was dying of originally prostate cancer. We took care of that, but moved to bladder cancer. Then it metastasized everywhere. He didn't want treatment. And I said, without treatment, you're going to die. He said, yep, and I'm ready, which, was hard. And I knew he was following Jesus, so that made it even easier. It's still difficult to lose your dad. or
Sure.
any
Yes.
loved one, but
Yes.
he was going to Jesus. So what more could I want? And we had a couple conversations in the hospital room, just to confirm it. I actually forgave him. I didn't really get an I'm sorry from him, which I think would have been more appreciated on my part.
Sure.
But we at least talked about it. I was able to say, listen, I really, really, really hated you for doing this to me.
Yeah.
And he sat there quietly and listened. But, and I said, I just give thanks to Jesus that you follow him and you can go with him and with my blessing as well, And he also was a really good grandfather to my boys because
that's good.
I think he
That's so good.
realized what he was doing wrong.
That's good.
So, loved going fishing with them. And my boys liked to golf, and my dad was blessed like my youngest. Any sport he did, he just excelled at. And those guys had fun. I just sat and smoked cigars and drove
the car.
I can't hit them dumb little white balls.
Little white
Well,
balls.
I can at 500 yards.
You can drop a mortar on one.
Yeah, that's exactly
for sure. So, Mark, thanks for your story.
Well, you bet.
There's hope for you if you grew up in a situation like my friend Mark, my brother, my cadre. I want to challenge you to lean into your story and to investigate it, interrogate the pieces. Go to the website, fatherseekers.org. Connect. We can help you if you need help in coaching your heart back to health. Sign up, connect with Father Fuel. It's a weekly encouragement you get with some wisdom from Scripture and some very smart people on how to be a great dad. Hey, thanks for listening today. This is Barry with Father Seekers, and this is the podcast, Teach Me to Father.